No. You got all ready to film a video today and left the script for the video on your work laptop, which is on the other side of town. Okay, come on, we're going on an adventure. Okay, so... Poetry pals, welcome back to another video. This week we are talking about syllables. Before we get into the video, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I make videos about writing and reading poetry, so please make sure you subscribe. I'm sorry I've been away for a minute. I've had loads and loads of freelance work to do outside of my job, and since I stopped making videos, I'm back at work again, and so I'm really struggling to find the time to make my own videos, especially because I need to pay bills. So I have been prioritising work that pays me, and unfortunately right now YouTube is not making me any money. If you find these videos useful and you want to show your appreciation, please share my videos to people, recommend me to people, and also if you want to show your appreciation in the form of currency, you can buy me a coffee and the link is in the description below. Anything helps, so thank you very much. And you can also follow me on social media. I am Josie Alford Poet on all the things. One of my most popular videos, or at least the one I get the most comments on, is my how to write a sonnet video. I think that a load of school kids have started watching it because they've had to write sonnets over lockdown. But that video, I wouldn't say it's blown up, that really is a bit of a reach, but it's definitely one of my most popular videos. And I get a lot of comments on there about, you know, people writing it for their assignments and stuff like that. But one of my comments, I don't know how to pronounce their name, but here's the comments. Basically, they didn't know how to identify stressed and unstressed syllables, which is something I talk about when it comes to metre and rhythm in poetry. So when they commented not knowing how to identify stressed and unstressed syllables, I replied saying that I would make a video. 4 weeks later, I wrote the script. 4 weeks after that, here I am, actually recording the video. When will it be released on YouTube? Who knows? So this comment got me thinking about how here I am, say, making videos on how to write poetry, and when actually what we could do with is some videos about breaking it down to the very basics and the components of what makes poems, and also not just thinking about that from the perspective of someone who's got to write these things, but also someone who might be studying these things and needing to write about them. So the first video in this series of like back to basics, foundations of poetry, I'll be honest, like I'll probably come up with a name for this series and I haven't done that yet. If you do come up with a name for this series, comment down below. I was thinking like foundations of poetry or back to basics or whatever. But we're starting with syllables. The next video that I do in this series will probably look at metre, so that's what happens when we put syllables together to make some sort of rhythm. And from there we can go on to talk about rhyme and repetition and different forms, and not only what that means for someone writing them, but what it means for someone studying and analysing those things. If you have if you have a feature of poetry or writing that you would like me to go into more depth on, please comment them down below and I will do that. So this video, I'm going to help you understand syllables. So throughout this video, I will help define what a syllable is, what stressed and unstressed syllables are and how to identify them. We are going to look at scansion and how to do it, and we'll even look at a couple of examples. If you are studying a poem, all of these things will help you identify this in writing. At the very end of the video, we will talk about how knowing these things helps you with your own writing and your own poetry. So, first of all, what is a syllable? According to the OED, by the way, getting some serious nostalgia for my English degree here, a syllable is a vocal sound or set of sounds uttered with a single effort of articulation and forming a word or element of a word. The interesting point here is that they say vocal. Even page poetry needs to be read aloud for syllables to be a thing. Syllables don't actually mean anything if you're not saying them. Now obviously when we're reading, if we're reading on our own, we do tend to read in our head, but I think reading things out loud in order to understand syllables is really important, so something to bear in mind. I also think that this is just a very complicated way of saying that a syllable is like a step, a chunk. So a poem might be a run, but a syllable is like one step in that run. So say you're running a 5K and that is a poem, a syllable is a basic unit of that movement, so one step. On with the definition. It is spoken language comprising of a vowel or vowel equivalent with or without one or more consonants or consonants equivalent. To round up, it must be uttered in one effort, it must form a word or part of it, and it must include a single vowel sound. So, for example, December, December. So, December, 3 syllables. Has the D and the E is the first syllable. So you've got that consonant sound and you've got the vowel sound, which is the E. You've got sem, which is another single utterance, like one effort, and that is a vowel sound in between two. And then b, which is the final syllable. Again, the vowel sound there is an E. That was a really bad example of it. But you've got the idea, right? We know what a syllable is. If you've watched my haiku video, you will know that actually different languages measure sound in different ways. So in Japanese poetry, the sounds are actually measured in something called on, which measures sound slightly differently. So for us, if we were talking about a word that had vowel sound moving into a different vowel sound, like eons for example, we would count that as 2 separate syllables, e and ons, eons, whereas the on in Japanese works slightly differently. It's incredibly hard to describe how that works, seeing as I don't speak Japanese and I don't necessarily understand Japanese enunciation, but it's got to do with that. So when we talk about syllables, we're very much talking about, you know, the English definition of syllables, which is that one unit of sound, and syllables are generally defined by a vowel or by a vowel sound. Obviously, Y being English being the complicated language that it is, Y is not a vowel, but it can be, so yes, you know what I mean, shut up. Okay, so we know what a syllable is, so what is a stressed syllable? A stressed syllable is where the beat falls in a line. For example, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The stressed syllables in that bit are all the numbers. Stress occurs when we give slightly more weight to one syllable than another through slightly increasing the duration and or the loudness of the syllable, or through giving it a slightly higher pitch. For example, subscribe, poetry, follow me on social media, @JosieAlfordPoet. So how do you identify which is which? This is where it actually gets quite difficult. It's an unconscious thing that we do. The minute we try to identify stressed and unstressed syllables, the minute we start overthinking it and finding it difficult. So when trying to find the stressed and unstressed syllables in poetry, whether it is your own or someone else's, I would say one of the easiest steps to do if you are really struggling with it is to record yourself saying it out loud without overthinking it. There you go, there's a challenge for you. So here's my advice. Start Record yourself saying it in your normal speaking voice, not trying to emphasise anything in particular. Then listen back to it and try to identify the stressed syllables. I know that... Story time. When I was doing my undergrad degree, I actually wrote a collection of sonnets for my dissertation, and my poor lecturer had to keep telling me that I was not actually writing in iambic pentameter, even though I thought I was. And so he'd make me read the poem to him, and I would be really weirdly emphasising different syllables and not doing it naturally. Writing in iambic pentameter should be easy because naturally the English language falls into iambic pentameter. We naturally alternate stressed and unstressed syllables, so it should be easy, but it isn't. So yeah, recording yourself saying it as normally as possible without any particular emphasis will help you to identify the stressed syllables. What is scansion? Scansion is the way that we identify stressed and unstressed syllables. Unstressed syllables are shown by a dash above the vowel, whereas stressed syllables are emphasised by a slash above the vowel, like a / in a website. So if you are watching this video because you're doing an assignment and they're asking you to show the scansion of a poem, that's what they mean. We're talking about the dashes and the slashes above the text. So now we're gonna go and I'm gonna show you some examples. Hello, I hope this works. Please excuse my nails. I'm sorry, I did originally plan on repainting them and I had to cut them, so now my fingers look really stubby. Anyway, this is not the place for my insecurities. Okay, so we're actually going to do the scansion for this poem, which is by Shakespeare. It is actually, it should have put the title on, but it is Sonnet 130 and it is called My Mistress's Eyes Are Nothing Like the Sun, and it's actually the poem that I based my sonnet in my How to Write a Sonnet video, so if you want to go and watch that, please do. But this is Shakespeare's version, and yes, I think we can agree it is infinitely better than the one that I wrote. Unstressed is defined by a little dash above the vowel, and stressed is identified by a dash above the vowel. So the first line, you've got to try and say it without any difficulty. So the first line is, my mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. So my I do not think is emphasised, but miss is. So my mistresses, and I think mistresses, so the second and third syllable of mistresses is not emphasised. So my mistress's eyes are nothing. My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Yeah, I think nothing like the sun. So as you can see, mistresses, as you can see here, even the opening line of Shakespeare's Sonnet 130 isn't a perfect iambic pentameter. We're going to go more into depth into meter in another thing, but the point I just want to make here is that, give or take, this is the rough shape of an iambic pentameter. It is an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable, which alternates 5 times. So an iambic pentameter, the pent there refers to 5. So we've got 5 stressed syllables in there, and the main thing about iambic pentameter is that we end on a stressed syllable. So the fact that there are 2 unstressed syllables here matters less than you think. Okay, so we're going to carry on. So the next line, coral is far more red than her lips red. Coral is far more red than her lips red. I would argue that the coral, is the emphasis word, and then that one isn't. And then we've got is far more red than her lips red. So here you can see that this one is not yet perfect iambic pentameter, but the business end of the line, or the rhyming bit of the line, is. So that's how we're going to do. If snow be white, then... If snow be white, why then her breasts are done. If snow be white, why then her breasts are done. If snow be white, why then her breasts are done. Why then? Why then? If snow be white, why then her breasts are done. Why then? Why then her breasts are done. Why then? This bit is a weird one, and I don't know whether, maybe it's why then. See, this is where we realise that actually this is quite difficult. But if snow be white, why then her breasts are done. No, you're right. It's why then. Why then her breasts are done. So this one does fit into the thing. If snow be white, why then her breasts are done. So for the purposes of brevity, I decided to speed up this part of the poem. Nothing that difficult came up, so I didn't think you guys needed to see it. However, if you do want to see the full video unedited of me going through and doing the scansion for this poem, let me know in the comments below and I can always release it as a separate video. I've got another point to make about the next line, so here we go. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know. Okay, so out of all of them, this is the first time that we've got a perfect iambic pentameter line here. So that's something to bear in mind, viewers, readers, that in one of my favourite Shakespeare sonnets, although he's not being very nice to her. Okay, so we're going to speed through the last bit of this poem, but I just want to say that I actually disagree with two of the words that I did on Scansion on. I think never, the stressed syllable, is the first one, and I think I got mistress the wrong way round as well. I think this goes to show that Scansion is an art, not a science. There's not always a definite answer, and also you can psych yourself out when you're saying things out loud, so give yourself time and keep practicing. So, as you can see, even as someone like me who has written about sonnets for her dissertation and has studied poetry throughout most of her formal education, I found this difficult. But what we can also see here is that iambic pentameter is not so as simple as an alternating thing. For a poem to be successful, I think it should not be strung so harshly to a meter. I think that as long as you've got the rough shape of it, it makes sense. So with most of these lines here, it doesn't matter so much about the fact that there are 10 syllables and they fit into an iamb, but more that there are 5 stressed syllables, which I'm pretty sure in every line there are 5 stressed syllables. So Shakespeare is one thing. Let's try another example. This is the Spice Girls lyrics to Wannabe. So the first line, yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I think yo is definitely an emphasis one. Yo, I'll tell you what I want. What I want, what I really, really want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. So tell me what you want. Yeah. I'd say that. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Really, really want. Really. Yeah. Okay. I wanna. So just to be clear, again, just to reiterate that the slash is going on the stressed symbol. I wanna. Really, 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 really. Wanna, zig ah. Okay, so when it comes to songs, I think it is different because, hello? Oh no. Okay, so how can this help you in your writing? You can use these techniques on your own writing to see if your poem fits into your chosen rhythm. Now, you might not be writing to a rhythm on purpose, but I still think using these techniques on your own writing gives you insight into how you are writing your poems. If you are trying to write a poem and you're conscious about sticking to a rhythm, my advice is not to overthink it in the first draft. Write the poem and the content that you need to write. Get those sweet, sweet ideas down on paper and write as naturally as it comes to you, and then go back and edit and try and get it to sit more naturally in this rhythm. I genuinely guarantee, if you write if you just write the poem you want to write without overthinking it too much, chances are the vast majority of it will be in iambic pentameter anyway. So just write it without overthinking it, and then in the editing stage, then we do these exercises and work out how we can make it fit into iambic pentameter a little bit better. So that's it for this week. I hope you found this video on syllables useful. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try and stick to getting videos out weekly, but as I said, we'll have to see how that goes. I hope you found this video useful. I will be making videos in more detail about meter and rhyming and other back to basics features of poetry. Please comment below, let me know what you think of this video and if there's anything else you'd like me to cover. Follow me on social media. I am Josie Alford Poet. I'd love to see you there. I will see you all next time I have the time to make a video. I'm sorry it is not as regular as I have wanted it to be. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.